there is nothing to do but to do nothing. There is nothing to do but to do nothing. That is how we escape the illusion. That is how we escape the matrix, by realizing on the deepest level, the highest perspective, the highest way to be is to do nothing, because there's nothing to do. Because doing something means we're attached to the doer, to the ego, to the somebodyness. It means we're stuck in the cycles of thought. We think we're somebody doing something. We think we know. We think we're in control. So the only thing to do is to not do anything, meaning stop thinking. Because every second we are present, we are not thinking, we are in the center of the circle as the observer, allowing our cosmic beloved to flow through us, using us as a vessel to the divine. That's every second we are present, not thinking. And that is how we dissolve the attachment to the ego, the somebodyness. Because you're detached from identifying with your doing self, the actor. So all there is nothing to do but to do nothing. Become present, surrender completely. And we look at some of these cosmic consciousness beings, some of these swamis and gurus and things who had cosmic consciousness. What is your reward for giving all that up to God? Cosmic consciousness. You become the highest capable version of this vessel to help others escape the illusion. When you surrender, when you practice presence at a high enough level, you realize that you're just letting God work through you at higher levels, becoming your higher self, becoming the observer. And this helps other people stuck in the illusion, stuck in the cycles of suffering, in the cycles of thought, in the cycles of rebirth. You become a direct being and vessel of God to free as many other people who are trapped in the illusion as possible in the matrix. That's the reward for giving it all up, is being the highest vessel, the highest being for God, the divine. That's how we allow the divine to work through us. We empty our mind, we purify the body, and we stay present. Every second we are present, we are allowing higher self, the divine, God, to work through us. And then we become, and we dissolve the ego. So that's why that's all there is to do, is realize we are not doing anything. We are the observer. We are observing nature running off in ourselves and others and everything. We are observing chemistry and conditioning in ourselves and others and everything. We're not doing anything. There is no control. This goes with not thinking, because we realize when you stop thinking, there's no control, because control only exists in the thinking mind. Thinking, you're in control. So when you stop thinking, you realize there's no control, and you need to practice stop thinking enough, long enough, to be the observer enough to start to see that and make the connection. It took me a while, but again, I'm not doing anything. It didn't take me, you know what I mean? This is my chemistry and conditioning, my nature running off. I'm just observing the path of this nature running off. That's what we're all doing. We can't judge others, right? Judging assumes control. You're assuming others have control. Why do we get mad? We get mad. Getting mad assumes control, because you're assuming someone could have done something differently, or you should have done something differently, or something's not acting as it should be. And this upsets you because we're still attached to our somebodyness, thinking things are happening to us. When someone says something that upsets us, it gets us, like someone gets us, our emotions going, right? We're still attached to thinking we're somebody. Otherwise, no words would affect us, because we'd be the observer. We're completely surrendered. I could laugh. You could still interact on this illusion level, but you almost become like these emotionless these ancient masters that we see that are just like almost like emotionless. You don't have to be to that extreme, but if they're taking it to that extreme, that these guys are kind of, no, I mean, they have, they laugh and they play and they joke. Look at Maharaji. But I'm saying, this is just one level of it. You got to give it all up. That's all there is to do. So through our suffering, which opens up the door to spiritual evolution in a way, through chemistry and conditioning, right? And so we use our suffering to help others, because it is through great suffering we got into the center of the circle and become higher beings and become cosmic consciousness. So it is through suffering we grow closer to God. It is through suffering we gain wisdom. And it is through wisdom we gain the ability to help others with their suffering. That's what these swamis and realized beings are doing. They're using the wisdom they gain from their suffering, wisdom being surrender, completely stay present, get detached, give it all up to God. They're using that to now be a vessel completely for God's eternal love and to help others escape to where they used to be in this reality. The level that they were once at a lower level, their nature running off, and now they're up here, and now they're going to help others who are at a lower level to start to bring it all together, to understand, have a deeper understanding, affect them to show them higher perspective and concepts that can help evolve their chemistry and conditioning, their being. That is why we are here. That is why you are here now. That is why we are here together. Everything that happens was always going to happen because it happens. So this interaction between us was always going to happen. Nothing. We only can make one decision, but we're not even making a decision. Right? It depends on what we're looking at this at multiple levels. Because really we're the observer and we're just observing nature running off no matter what happens. So that's why we can't get attached to wrong decisions or even being the one making a decision. Because only one thing can ever happen, and that's what happens. Right? We talked about this in some of my previous videos. There is no this or that. You choose this was always going to happen, that was never going to happen. So there's no regret, shame, or guilt, or sin, right? There is none of these things because they all assume control. And we have no control when we're the observer. We're thoughtless. We're staying in the center of the circle. Stay in the center of the circle and allow all things to take their course. From the Tao Te Ching, this is telling us to be the observer. This is telling us exactly the same thing. I'm just kind of translating this to make it easier to understand. This is a very deep line from the Tao Te Ching, right? And many others tell us to do the same thing, to surrender, to give it all up. Give it all up to get it all. Give it all up to God to become the highest version, your Atman, your higher self, allowing the divine to work through you. I am God's eternal love pouring forth. That is complete surrender. That is why I say that so much. Because that is all there really is to do. There's nothing to do but to do nothing. Just be the observer. Relax at any moment. When you feel getting stressed out, well, I think I'm somebody doing something. Presence. It always comes back to presence, to stop thinking. And that's why we have to do things like facilitate a state of peace, reconstitute and empty the mind, purify the body. That at this level, again, we're looking at this from so many different levels. At one level, we have to do those things. We're just telling our conditioning, right? Thank you for joining me, my friends. There is nothing to do but to do nothing. May the cosmic beloved send us peace, patience, presence, and understanding. I am God's eternal love pouring forth. Namaste.